So we
Is that intro long enough for you, Maureen?
I didn't recognize myself in any of those photos. Wow.
Didn't have time to update that. There's Danny saying, welcome to the show, Maureen. Thank you. Yes, if you haven't noticed, I have a lovely and talented co-host, and her name is Maureen Ennor, and she is from Red, White, and Blue podcast, and we are teaming up to bring you 2G1.
Red, White, and Blonde.
Red, White, and Blonde. I'm sorry, Red, White, and Blonde. It's natural for me to say Red, White, and
Blonde. I don't have blue hair yet.
Thank God. It'd be quite the liberal show if you did. That's what it would be. Sorry about that. Red, White, and Blonde podcast. So now we are 2G1C, Red, White, and Blonde. We are joining forces here, and she is absolutely been spectacular and very gracious to me to decide to jump on and co-host this, and I am happy to have her here. So welcome, officially welcome. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I know people know who you are, but just give a little bit real quick before on your background before we get into the news of the day.
Yes, I'm Maureen Ennor. I host my own podcast, Red, White, and Blonde.
Yeah, that's
not blue hair yet.
Yeah.
And I'm originally from California. I'm a native San Franciscan, fifth generation. My family moved to San Francisco in 1850, so I'm a straight California girl, to be honest.
Crazy, right? I mean, fifth generation. You know?
I'd say all of my genes are washed out. I'm just a California girl.
Yeah.
And moved to Texas after my husband died in the line of duty. And started my podcast. I had a career in media in California, went back into it. My podcast took off. Dale found me and I joined, and I'm so happy. I'm really happy to have this platform. Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you very much. And if you don't know, she is also the co-host on our Tuesday show on the America First Warehouse, which is 10 a.m. Eastern time every Tuesday. So, yep, we're joining forces there too. So you'll be seeing a lot of Maureen, and we are happy that she is here. I thank you again. You have been very gracious, and I'm telling you, extremely helpful to me too, because you have been in media. You kind of know the workaround and the going ons there. And you come from the West Coast, which is to us East Coasters and everybody over on this side of the world, where it's different to us.
The left coast.
The left coast. And being a fifth generation, which is it's got to be almost getting rare, right? I mean, it's at this point.
Yeah, my children are sixth, so that's it's very unusual. And it's funny. I worked in finance, and I worked at a hedge fund in San Francisco years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to bring in my birth certificate for HR.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, the lady said, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen a San Francisco birth certificate before." And that's when I realized I was like, okay, because all my family, we were all born in San Francisco, all my cousins, everybody. So it didn't seem strange to me, but it is very unusual to have that kind of lineage. I'm 4th generation on my father's side, 5th generation on my mother's side.
Wow.
So, and can I just take a moment just to say something, since we're talking about this Thursday, July 23rd, will be 6 years. My husband died in the line of duty in California. My husband died of COVID. He was Alameda County Sheriff's Deputy with Alameda County Sheriff's Department. And I just wanted to say to anyone out there who is going through horrific loss, a breakup, a divorce, something that is altering your life at this moment where you really feel like you don't know what to do. I've said this before in my own podcast. Reach out to me. Reach out to me and let me hear your story, and let me see what I can do to see if there's some help for you. Because I went through the most horrific ordeal of losing my husband, burying my husband in public, because he was a police officer in California. It was COVID. We had lockdowns. We couldn't have a religious ceremony. We couldn't be with our family. Family couldn't fly in. It was, it was horrible all the way around. And then I picked up and I moved to Texas and I started over. And where I am now, I've been here 4 years. And then I was dating someone and that ended. And that sent me back into a part of my grief I didn't know I still had. I really struggled. It was loss again. And I wasn't prepared for it. And in December, I decided to start my podcast because I felt like I had a story, and I felt like there were people that would be interested in hearing about what I've done and how I got over things. And I just want to say thank you, Dale, for giving me this opportunity.
Oh, no, geez.
No, I do. I really, really thank you, because going through what I went through, losing my husband, then having loss again, I really struggled. I mean, I really, really, really struggled. And I'll never be the same as I was before 2020, that life, but I just want to encourage everyone. If you believe in something, if you have something that you want to do, it doesn't mean having to start a podcast, anything. Just realize you can really do whatever you want. And don't let your past define you. Don't let what other people say about you define you.
Bingo.
And just find a way to find your people and to try to get through. And I don't recognize myself as the girl I was in 2020. And I really don't recognize the self I was a year ago when I went through this breakup, because I had to really come out of it. And I just want to have everybody know that, there are people out there to encourage you. Don't listen to the ones that tear you down, that gossip about you, that tell you you're too opinionated or too conservative. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to anything a man says to you. That's negative. No, negative.
That's negative.
Don't listen, because it's ridiculous. But reach out to me if you're struggling, or if you have a story that you want to tell me. Reach out to me. And
you're accessible and you're gracious, and
and especially if you're and if you're a widow, if you're a blue wife, if you're a widow, reach out to me. I do have another blue wife widow who has reached out to me, and probably try to see if we can get her on the show, because she's doing really good work.
Good.
But anybody out there who's struggling, I know what it feels like, and it's horrible, but you do get through it.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate you sharing your story and the heartfeltness, the genuineness of it all. There is no thanks needed on my end. The thanks is all from me. It's people
you just
like
never
you.
Know. That's the thing I'm trying to say. You never know who's going to cross your path.
And for what reason and why yet, but there's always a purpose, and and we all have a purpose in life. And so when those paths do cross, don't be afraid to take advantage of. that
Right.
situation
Right.
too, you
And
know,
if you want to
because
do
you never know.
something, do
Hmm.
it.
Yep. I
You
agree.
don't have to share with everybody what you're doing. You don't
Nope.
have to just, if you want to do something, just do it
Just do it.
and just do it. Life is
Hmm.
short. I learned that in 2020. Life is
Hmm.
short.
Yep.
And don't let somebody tell you that you're not worth anything. That
Yeah.
is the number one. And
Correct.
I know we're not supposed to believe it, but at the time when we're going through it, we believe it and it
Yep.
crushes us.
Yes.
But we cannot let somebody take your worth away.
Nope. Nope. We all have worth and purpose. And, you know, again, it's the path you choose that may define what that worth and purpose is or not define it. But you have to take it. And we all have that, we all have that in us too.
Yeah.
Generally, I'm always of the belief, Maureen, that human beings are pure garbage in most cases.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that in the way like we're all garbage and we're all trash, but it's easy for humans to hurt one another, you know,
Mhm.
emotionally, physically, whatever the case
Mhm.
may be.
Yeah.
And it's always been the fact that you just got to have your circle. You know, you
Yes.
have to have your people, and those that are out there, they're trying to bring you down on purpose.
Oh yeah.
That's
And
their goal. That's what
I
they want to
lived
do.
that for years, being
Yeah.
in media, doing everything that I've done. I've always been
Hmm.
one that I've always had a lot of confidence. I just go out and do
Yeah.
something. But this racked me.
Hmm.
I was racked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I got through it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying everyone can do it. It
But
is
there's help
hard.
out there, and there are people like yourself out there that are willing
Yes.
to listen and help, and that's the important
Yes.
part. No matter
Yeah.
what you're going through,
Exactly.
and a lot of times, no matter what you think at the time, I'm going through this. I'm the only one on earth who's going through that.
You do. You
Never is the case. It's
you
never the
close
case.
off.
Yeah.
We close off, and the worst person is how we talk to ourselves.
Oh yeah, we are.
We
We're
are our
hardest on
number
ourselves.
one. We are our worst enemy, and we talk to ourselves. And I don't know how
Mhm.
to fix that. I try, but that's
It
something
is
for the
hard
experts.
because
Yeah,
it's so, and it's always easier to be negative about yourself than it is to be positive. Just someday sit down and write 20 positive things and 20 negative things and tell me which list gets done first.
yeah,
It's easier to be negative on you. It's harder to be positive about
yeah,
what you are. And that mindset has to change. Regardless, for everybody out there, you know,
yeah.
we all have positiveness in us. We all, and I know you're going to sit there and there's murderers and child molesters. You know, I get all that. That's an outliner of, but in
There's evil
general,
in the world, and
there's
we'll
evil in the
never
world
get
and
rid
there's
of
no way
it.
to
We
stop that.
will never get rid of it. And I have a quick example, and then we can move on. But
Sure.
I saw the very best in people when my husband died.
Hmm.
Complete strangers sent me letters. When he was at the Santa Rita jail, I had
Hmm.
inmates. I think there were 5 of them that sent me letters about how
Wow.
nice Mr. Oscar. They called him Mr. Oscar,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the writing was minimal, the spelling was poor, but it was so
I mean,
amazing to
think of
see
that.
these inmates wrote me letters of how sorry
Correct.
they were because he was always nice
Right.
to them. My husband was always nice to the inmates. I used
Yeah.
to say, "Why are you nice to them?" And he'd say, "It's less paperwork."
Let's paperwork. That's probably half true, at least.
He was
You
so
know?
good, like that's the way he looked at things. He was so
Yeah.
old school.
Yeah.
But there was a local city council member, liberal.
Hmm.
When my husband was in the hospital for 10 days with COVID on a ventilator, I got in to see him, and I took a
Hmm.
photo of my hand holding his hand. And the sheriff's department, it went out to the media, it went everywhere. It was huge. And this city council member wrote a comment on Twitter. It was Twitter then, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. It
And he
was.
said, "All cops are bastards." As my
Wow.
husband lay in a
Yeah.
hospital bed at John Muir fighting for his life.
That's
So, and this was
unbelievable.
a left-wing liberal. I went, his department contacted me and said, "Do what you know how to do." And I called
Yeah.
everybody. I called
Oh yeah.
everybody I knew in the media. I called everybody, and he was forced to
Good.
resign.
Good.
All of the I can't even remember the name of the city. It was somewhere in Alameda County. And it was in my husband's county. Like the chief of police and they all apologized, and which I didn't care. But so that's an example of
You have inmates who wrote you nice letters, and then a city council
who is a liberal wrote all cops are bastards.
So that's there.
So there's your level of.
There's your level. You're right. There's your level, and the whole never judge a book by its cover kind of situation too. Because who would think that, right? In the end. Wow, that's thank you for sharing all that with us, too. And thank you for being here again.
Thank you. And thank you for giving me that moment. I wanted to share.
This is your show too. So
we're all going through something, right? We all have something we're going through. And
right now, probably everybody, I know. I have an old co-host who's going through a lot of stuff, and he just needs to get through that stuff. That's all. And
all we can do is send our love and our prayers. And when I say that I will pray for you, that means I will pray for you.
That's the truth.
And
it's not.
Sometimes that's all we can say.
Yep. Sometimes that's all you can say. Yep. Or bless your heart. There's another one you can say too, depending on the situation. So, now that you're in Texas. Yep. Now that you're there. Maureen, if you want, and good morning out there. Good morning to Eddie and Tarna and Danny and all that. Thank you for being here. Like, follow, share, do everything you do out there for us. We appreciate it. And we appreciate you starting your Monday with us. Let's talk about the big primetime speech that President Trump gave last Thursday evening. I don't want to say it's old news now, but everybody knows about the speech. Everybody knows what took place, what was said. We have some issues with the way Trump started the speech, talking about him. It kind of sounded like a stump speech at first. He really didn't need to do that. Maureen and I both agree on this, and we've talked about it, that it could have been right to get to the nuts and bolts of it all, because that's what really matters here. Either way, that's kind of President Trump's thing. That's how he does it. Nobody self-promotes better than him. So, unfortunately, and sometimes you lose the message when you do that. Do you agree with that, Maureen?
I absolutely agree. That was the first thing I thought of when I was watching it. About 3 or 4 minutes in, I thought, why is he doing this? I totally disagreed. He doesn't do well when he's reading off a teleprompter. He's very good at speaking off the cuff. He knows his material. He knows what he's talking about. But the meat of that speech was he had to be precise in what he was saying when it came
his
down
data
to
and his figures and his names and the situations and dates and all that. He had to be precise. Couldn't have been.
Had to be. He could
because
not.
that's when the media would have been like, he's lying. Look at that. You said this name. It's not even that.
He had to be accurate in the laws that he was quoting and
correct.
Everything. It was very.
I would have had to read off a teleprompter. I couldn't have memorized all that data. So
he looked uncomfortable. He didn't have. It wasn't his normal self.
I agree,
because he doesn't typically do a speech like that off a teleprompter, which is good. We should be glad that he's not relying on a teleprompter.
Yep, I agree with that. Real quick here, Bad Influence DT. He's fairly new to the show here. So morning, Dale and Miss Maureen. Good morning. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Anyways, that's kind of how I felt too. But then we got to the meat of the. And I think one of the surprising things, and we talked about it briefly off air, was the fact that Fulton County, Georgia, wasn't even mentioned.
Interesting, right?
Interesting, right? Yeah, seeing as 6 months ago, Tulsi Gabbard, who obviously has an issue with her brother at this point, but it's another story.
Oh my gosh!
I know. Again, we all have family, and we all have families that are garbage. So you can't pick your family. So.
Like she doesn't have enough to deal with.
No kidding. It's like, oh boy. But anyways, they invaded Fulton County. They took just truckloads of information.
We don't know what they took, right? We don't know
what they took at this point.
Were they machines? Were they ballots machines, software, computers? We don't know.
We don't know that, at this point yet. But it's very shocking what happened in Fulton County, as well as it was in Pennsylvania and all that. But Michigan was, I'll tell you why Michigan was on the radar for me from the start. and I can't remember his name, and I'm sorry, I should have looked that up, and I didn't, but it kind of just came to me that from the start, during 2020, when that election happened, there was a guy running for Senate, Senate or House, and I'm sorry again the details, and I'll find all this out, but he was African American. He was a black
Oh,
man.
John James.
That's it.
John James. Yeah, he's
in the
now
Detroit
running.
area.
Isn't he running for governor now?
Is he running for governor now? Is that who it is? Okay.
Think. Yeah.
Could be true. Could be true.
He's and Trump has endorsed him. He's a great guy. Great candidate.
Great guy. Absolutely a great guy.
Yeah, no, it's John James.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that. Mm-hmm. And then he got wiped out by some white dude who's just like and just didn't make sense. And especially the demographics that are in that area and the actual voting totals when they came out. It's like, wait a second. There's no way, right? It was almost rock solid he was going to be locked in that seat. Mm-hmm. And then it didn't happen. And I thought, wait a second, what is going on now there? And then kind of Michigan went off I knew they had voter roll problems. I thought the whole thing was the election integrity for 2020. Joe Biden didn't get the 81 million votes. Stuff we've said over and over again since then for 6 years now. But I was just surprised in the speech that Michigan was a focus and a welcome surprise in a way, because I wasn't.
Trump is endorsing John James. I'm almost positive he's running for governor.
Is he running for governor?
It's funny you mentioned, because in our warm up before the show, I was going to mention I'd like to get him on the show. Oh yeah, I would love to get him on the show for sure. I have followed him for a long time. Yeah, he's great. He's great. I think I'm just looking that up, but so that would make sense if John James is running. He's a West Point grad.
Yes.
He's a Republican U.S. representative for Michigan's 10th congressional district, serving since 2023. So he won in 22.
Back in 22. Gotcha.
And he is running for governor.
He is running for governor.
He's the front runner for the Republican nomination for Michigan governor. So that is probably why Trump threw a nod to
Michigan,
because he is endorsing him.
Is Whitmer, is she done, or is she running again? Does she have another term? I think she does. Gretchen, I don't know. Gretchen Whitmer.
I don't know.
So sorry, didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, that's okay, because I know John James well. I mean, I don't know him, but I followed him, and he's a great candidate.
Got all the qualifications, no doubt about it. Smart, intelligent man. Very shocked.
He's running on the freedom agenda, which emphasizes restoring opportunity, economic growth, academic excellence, safe communities, and strong families. Well, Michigan needs somebody like that. That's for sure.
Michigan does. Yeah. And Whitmer.
And Gretchen Whitmire, look at what she's done. Fake kidnapping. She had the kidnapping hoax. Nothing happened. Budget's a mess in Michigan.
Correct. Yep.
Voter roll problems. So Trump's doing the right thing. If he's if he's endorsing John James, of course he's going to say, I'm going to take care of Michigan. We're going to get this cleaned up.
Correct. And so it was great. I have a couple clips here from, so a couple things I want to see here. I have Catherine Herridge, who for a couple of minutes was on Katie Pavlitz's show, kind of explaining what the speech was about. We can play that if you want. It's up to you if you want to hear it.
Can I just make one quick mention?
Yeah.
After his speech, I was watching it live on television, and I was on Fox.
Yep. So was I. This is a great point, by the way. Go ahead.
It went to Sean Hannity for about maybe 4 or 5 minutes. I don't know. I wasn't timing it. And
very short time.
Yeah. He kind of just talked about some of the points. He didn't really have much to say. And then it went to Aisha, who was at the White House covering.
Correct.
And she said a few things, then it went back to Hannity, then it went back to Aisha, and then she said a few things, and then she said, well, Fox News has to verify this information. We don't know.
Correct.
And then they went right to the Iran war.
Yep.
Like, they didn't want to talk about that election. They didn't want to talk about what Trump. Then they went right to Iran.
Correct.
And they never talked about it again.
Yep. Correct. Why is that, do you think?
Well, this is another show we really need to do about Israel, their influence, what's happening is, we don't want to get down that rabbit hole right now because we could go on, but there's a lot of issues right now with
Correct.
doing in Iran. And it looks like he's going to have to put boots on the ground.
There's something's going to, and that's going to be very unpopular.
Yeah.
It's going to be very unpopular.
Yeah. And we'll save that for another day.
Yeah, we will. Yes. I don't think there's any other end to it but that. But
well,
and save it for another day.
With your question, why did they do that? Because these networks are pushing his agenda
Mm-hmm.
and the war and supporting the war, which they have been doing since day one. Not
correct.
So that was a perfect example of the media is behind the war agenda.
Correct. That was a perfect example of that, and the other perfect example
of the conservative media.
Conservative media. Correct. Yes. The other perfect example of the media's corruption is the fact that ABC, NBC, and CNN did not air it live. You did a little research beforehand on the amount of times President Trump has actually had a primetime speech.
Well,
this surprised me, and I'll tell you why, Maureen, because he's so accessible and he's talking all the time that you just assume that he's just, he must have, 2 dozen of these things, 3 dozen of these things over his terms so far.
No, because when we were talking about this last week, when we were giving our predictions of what he was going to talk about, and I even said, I went back and watched that show a few times to see what we talked about. Mm-hmm. And I even said, it's not very common for him to do a primetime address from the Oval. Mm-hmm. Like, I couldn't think of one time in this last presidency where he'd done it.
Yeah.
And he hasn't. He did like a 4 o'clock a few months ago when talking about Iran.
Yep.
And that was the only other time. So it's not common for him to hold a primetime news address to the nation from the Oval Office. It's very unusual. So we all were thinking, this is really something. What's he going to say? Did he say anything that we didn't already know? We didn't know what was in those burn bags, right? We knew they had found those burn bags.
Yes, we'd heard that.
Gino and Kash Patel had talked about that. We didn't know what was in them. But was there anything that just really made us go, oh my gosh?
Yeah. No, I almost wasn't expecting anything to make me go, oh my gosh. Yeah. Because I think I think a lot of the conspiracies after the 2020 election were proven to be non-conspiracies and actual truths. So none of that really, I didn't think there was going to be much that really surprised me about it. So no, the surprising part to me is the fact that I already knew people who don't like Trump were going to watch the press conference. Didn't care. They're going to turn the channel, turn the TV off. Didn't matter. They don't want to hear it. They're not on the social media following. Their algorithm isn't even going to bring it up because they don't follow them, or it's going to be the algorithm of the left trying to absolutely, absolutely destroy the speech itself and call it fake news and all this other stuff. But so I knew that was going to happen already. And those who support Trump and MAGA and America First and all that, we're going to be tuned in and watching and listening to every word. What I just didn't expect was that the prime time news channels would not show this, regardless of the topic. Again, it's not their job. And you can tell me you've been in the media. It's not their job to tell me what's fact and not fact. Their job is to report the news themselves as it's happening. The speech itself was the news.
That just goes back to the old days of the media when we had 3 channels and that came on to speak, and it was a monumental event. Those days are gone. I don't care who the president is. Those days are gone. We have way too much information now. We have way too many people telling us what's happening. We have so many ways to get a hold of information. So those days are gone. I never worked in media that elite. I didn't work for a network like that, obviously. But you're right. Like, at what point does the media have the decision to say, oh, this isn't, we don't need to have this?
Correct.
But again, media is not the same anymore. If those were the only 3 networks, like they were when we were growing up, they would have an obligation to do that. I'm not saying it's right, but in their mind, they're like, we don't need to waste our time. Nobody's watching them anyways. I mean,
nobody is. And I agree.
Surviving.
I agree. And to me, honestly, what they did, ABC, NBC, CNN, was they drew more interest to the speech because of the outcry of they didn't show it. So people are like, well, what didn't they show? Why didn't they show it? So it backfires on them like it always does to me. They're like a lot of Democrat policies or ideas. They always backfire on them at some point because they're bad decisions that they make. And those bad decisions will lead to, more interest from people at this point. And it was just weird.
A move like this with the major networks just shows again the camp they're in.
Of course.
It should not be a shock to any of us, but it is just.
Why does it still shock me? Why did this one shock me that they wouldn't even?
It didn't shock me at all. I wasn't shocked at all. I was more shocked that Fox News did not say more about.
I
was
agree.
Really looking forward to commentary coming after his speech.
Me too.
Down what he was saying, because it was very difficult if you watch the speech live in your mind. I mean, I was taking notes and
it was hard to follow.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, now we'll hear somebody come on and they'll have a panel and they'll break everything down. No, they couldn't even give it 5 minutes.
Well, that's why I thought Catherine Harris did a really good job on Katie Pavlich's show. On Newsmax. On Newsmax. And so that's what she broke it down pretty well. And people have this and that about Catherine Harris. I like her as a reporter. I think she does a pretty good job. I think CBS screwed her like they do everybody.
Pentagon for years.
Very
well respected.
Very well respected.
Good journalist.
Correct. So that John Solomon, same thing. Like he does good work on that end of things at times. And he was on I think CBS or something like that, trying to explain it as well, and did a good job of it. CBS aired it, so that's there's at least that.
I think too, it's nothing can be done. They can't go back and change the election.
I don't think that was the agenda, though.
No, I think it was number one agenda was getting the SAVE Act passed. His message. Correct. This was a very good base jump for him to say, look, this happened.
Yep.
And if we don't get the SAVE Act, we have no control of our elections, which is absolutely true.
100% true.
It's absolutely
100% true.
But how do we protect ourselves from China? How do we protect ourselves from them not hacking in? China has over 200 million of our voter information. That means they could have your information, my information. What are they doing with that?
I'm sure they do.
It's much broader than, our elections. It's just the absolute invasion into our systems.
I mean, if you think 150 million votes come in at a federal presidential election every 4 years, and they've got 220 million of our data, then they have all of our data at this point. They have basically, you can only assume that they have yours and mine and what's going on there.
Yeah. So those are the things that are important, but how do we fix it? How do we make sure we have free and are we going to have fair elections in the midterms? How are we going to make sure?
Well, for one, I think a lot of people are saying you have to pass the SAVE Act in order for that, and I agree. I think that's one step towards it.
Didn't Lisa Murkowski come out that she's going to support the SAVE Act?
Yes. Yeah.
Did she come out over the weekend?
Did she say she's not, or did she?
I thought she said she was.
Oh, okay. That could be.
Maybe true. I was wrong. Maybe I was wishful thinking.
Yeah, maybe.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
I thought Lisa Murkowski was saying no, she's not. That's what I read.
Okay, I could be wrong.
Could be wrong. She might have changed her mind. You know how these things go at anywhere. Well, still, you got to have a lot of people on board. And Rand Paul, all these people, they've got to be on board with it as well. So we'll see what happens there. But
so were you a little disappointed with his? Did you want it to be a bigger?
That's a good question. I think my disappointment came from the fact that
she doesn't support it. I'm sorry.
She doesn't support it. No, that's okay. Yeah, she doesn't support it. Of course she doesn't, because what's in it for her? So thank you for double checking though, because I didn't know for sure myself, but I thought I read that. Was I just a little bit, I guess, because I wanted, here's video of here's like we have things on video, things like that. So of course I want all of the information. I want it all blown out of into the public. the point is, I don't think it's like everything. It doesn't matter if this was reversed, Maureen, and this would have happened to Joe Biden or Kamala Harris.
They would have burned down the country.
The fake Russian hoax since Hillary, since 2016 to 2020, all was Russia. Russia was involved. Russia was the people involved, right? And so they themselves, if this was a real situation, it would be the biggest news. He would be impeached. There would be re-elections. There would be,
they impeached him on 2 false narratives.
Narratives.
So imagine if,
that's correct.
It's so obvious. But I am going to say today, waking up and getting caught up on Mitch McConnell, the Republicans are no better than what the Democrats did with Joe Biden and telling us he was fine. And at least Joe Biden, after he failed miserably in the debate, pulled out. He got out.
Yeah.
And
somebody told him to, but he got out. Yes.
Yeah. But this Mitch McConnell thing is just not looking good.
But I do want to play a video you sent me of Hillary Clinton. Okay. Because I don't know if anybody remembers this, but it was back. Well, I think it was between 2016 and 2020. I don't know what day it was exactly, but she was on Rachel Maddow's show. So that'll date it back a little bit when she had her full-time show on there. She's not back to full-time, is she? Maddow?
I think so. She's like on a panel, isn't she now? Or something?
Who knows? It failed because nobody's
She's from the Bay Area. She's from Castle Valley.
Right.
Not a very nice area. Not the area I'm from.
Just put that dig in there, right? But this is what Hillary said, interestingly enough, about China back then, right? Let's put you up on there. Here it is. Listen to this. Maureen sent this to me last week, and I'm like, I forgot about this. I don't remember seeing it even, so.
The only other adversary of ours who's anywhere near as good as the Russians is China. So why should Russia have all the fun? And since Russia is clearly backing Republicans, why don't we ask China to back us?
I hereby tonight ask China.
That's right. And not only that, China, if you're listening, why don't you get Trump's tax returns? I'm sure our media would richly reward you.
She was close to being president of the United States.
That might have been in 2016.
That might have been 2016, right after the lead up to it.
It might have been during the campaign, because that said MSNBC on the bottom in the old, very old font. Yeah. And the way she looked, I don't know. I'll do some research to find out exactly when that was, but because that was the big issue with his tax returns too. Remember?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh, we have you have somebody here. Listener Tarna, she says, "LOL, I'm from the Bay Area." She lives in Tennessee now, but I didn't know that.
Where are you from?
Yeah,
Tell
what
me
part?
Where you're from.
Yeah. Let us know. Yeah, she's in
If
Tennessee. She also escaped.
Pastor Valley's very nice. I was just being catty about Rachel Maddow.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. Yes, she is a demon. Tarna also said on there that Hillary was a demon for sure, and we dodged a bullet more than once. With her and then again with Kamala Harris. Like, I ask this all the time of people, and who knows, honestly, but where would we be right now if Kamala was actually won that election? What would have? I mean, there's another California girl.
What's interesting? If you add up all of the votes that Joe Biden got and all of the votes that Trump got, it almost is exact. It's like the margin is very small as to them split absolutely equally.
Correct.
I found that very strange. Like, what about the independents and the write-ins? There was only I don't know.
Yeah, that is strange.
4,000 different. Like,
I don't
know.
It's weird.
That was in 20. We're talking in 2020.
2020. Yeah. Marin County, Marin. Is that?
Marin.
Marin. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. I grew up in Danville in Contra Costa County.
Nobody knows where that's at. I'm East Coast.
If you live in the Bay Area,
you know where it's at. Yeah.
And I lived there my whole life. I lived there till that's where we lived. When my husband died, that's where we lived in Danville.
Wow. Yeah.
We went to high
school. You miss it at all? The area?
I miss the parts that, what I miss? I miss what it was, and it's not the same. Yeah. My daughter and I always talk about this. Like, we grew up in the most amazing place, and it's not there anymore. I miss what I grew up in. I miss we went to the beach all day.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have cell phones. Our parents didn't know where we were. They didn't care. They just told us to drive safe, no seatbelt. It's just such a different life.
Yeah.
Like, I would never allow, if I was living in California right now, I wouldn't allow my teenager to go to the beach like we did for the day.
Wow.
By themselves. And so I miss that. I miss the food. I miss the weather. I miss the way we grew up. And it's just not like that anymore.
Yeah, I guess that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I miss everything about the way we grew up. And maybe it's just because I was not in tune to politics when I was a kid or younger, but it doesn't even matter. Raising my family, where me and my wife raised them, it was in northeastern Ohio at the time when we moved. The kids were still in school, but growing up there, raising them, just totally different now. And it's like, what happened? I mean, it wasn't that long. Our daughter's 30. It wasn't, she was 5, 6 years old, and hearing her friends are riding a bike to the library and going, like, I would never today. And I don't know if that's the crime documentaries that I've watched over the years, or the social media influence, or the
internet. The internet.
It's the internet, right?
Destroyed our life as we know it. It's destroyed relationships between men and women, dating, just everything. It's seriously. And I think that's one of the main reasons why we just don't have that normal life that we had, which was communicating with people and getting together. And, you called your friends, you met, everybody went somewhere, we all were together. It's just not like that anymore.
It is not. It's definitely not like that. Tarna says it kills me what they did to that state. So California.
I agree. It's heartbreaking. And I think of my grandparents, like, my gosh.
Such beautiful part of the country, part of the country. And
good weather.
I have no interest in going there at this point.
It was very cultured the way I grew up. And I didn't realize it until I moved away. I mean, we had the best of everything. We had the best theater, opera. San Francisco got all the music. We had everything there. We could go to the opera. We could go to the theater district. We had the best runs of everything because it was San Francisco. Best concerts, best food, beautiful landscape, beautiful buildings. It wasn't until I went to Europe for the first time last year that I realized this is just like California. I was in these little parts of Europe. And I was like, this reminds me of Marin County. This reminds me of the wine country. This reminds me of San Francisco. And then I came home and I thought about it. I was like, wow, I grew up in a very cultured area. A lot of very diversified, San Francisco, all kinds of, you could get every ethnic food, every neighborhood. And people were very cultured. Here, not so much. Which I'm not putting Texas down. It's just a different, I grew up in a very cultured environment.
Correct. Yep. Correct. Which at the time was good, but now it's just, look who runs it, right? I mean, there's a correlation between that. We see it all the time in every major city or every local town. It depends on who's really running things.
And that might be a good time to mention who I have on tomorrow.
Please do that on tomorrow's Tuesday. So just real quick, Maureen will be taking the show by herself and has a guest. It'll be on tomorrow's America First Warehouse show at the America First Media and Television Network, 10 a.m. Eastern. Just go ahead. Who do you have on tomorrow?
Yeah, so his name is Eric, and he has Inner Rhythm Media. He's in Southern California. He's doing sort of a Nick Shirley version, but he's hammering the homeless industrial complex. He's been on Dr. Drew. He did a show with Steve Hilton, who's running for governor, who we're going to be getting Steve Hilton on the show as well, you and I. And he just has these incredible videos. He goes to these the state of California or LA County has bought these old motels and buildings, and they've been working on them for 3 years, and they're just dilapidated. Nothing's happened, and they've gotten billions of dollars from the county of LA, state of California, for homeless. So he's going to bring us his boots on the ground, what it's like out there in LA, and what's really happening. And
it's phenomenal. You got to follow him. So,
and LA County just had that. West Hollywood had that water main broke.
Yeah,
and he
that's right.
also is going to talk about that and how the municipalities all up and down the state of California are just absolutely falling in disarray.
They are. The infrastructure itself is
they
terrible.
don't spend any money on any of the necessary things that keep their cities in California going. So tomorrow, we will have Eric on. He's going to be great.
Which isn't on anything different that Steve Hilton isn't talking about as well, and Spencer Pratt was. You know, I mean, there's a lot. Those guys were right, and they are right. You know, on what's going on. I unfortunately will have to listen to the replay due to my work schedule tomorrow.
I'll do a good job for you, I promise.
No. You'll do a great job because you just do in general. So that's not. Yeah, I appreciate.
I think it's going to be. He's going to be very
great.
Interesting. He's going to be
I can't wait to listen, and I will listen to that.
And again, people question me all the time. Why do you cover California? You now live in Texas, and I say it, and I'll say it forever. California is very important to this nation,
regardless of what you think. Yep, and
regardless. And if California goes, so goes the nation. I was raised on that. My father always said that. And we have to be aware of what's happening in California because we do not want the country to become the next California. And Newsom is already out there touting that he wants a federal billionaire tax. You know, because he wants to. To run. Let me say something really quick to you about Newsom. I thought about this over the weekend. It came to me from an old playbook that I remembered. So he wants the nomination for president. So in order for him to win the primary, he has to go so incredibly far left. I mean, he has to really go far left to win the primary, to get the nomination. Once he gets the nomination, then he goes to the middle. So we got to pay attention to him. I remembered that from an old script that I just remembered it because I was like, why is he touting these crazy? That's what he's doing. So wake up, everybody. He's going to go so far left to get the nomination, and then he's going to come back to the middle. We need to pay attention. I don't even think he's going to get the nomination. But
you don't. So who do you? Okay. Yeah, it's weird because at this point, I don't know who would get the nomination.
I still think it's going to be somebody we haven't seen yet.
I agree with that. And
I think it's going to be, the midterms are going to say a lot. And I really feel like we're going to win the midterms. I don't think we're going to lose the midterms.
You don't? You feel good about that too? Okay.
I feel good about the midterms. Did you see Bill Maher's interview with ABC?
I did. I did. That was interesting.
He said his vote is in play. Because if my party, the Democrat Party, I'm speaking for him, if my party is going to continue down this road of insanity, no police, no borders, I'm done. I'm voting for JD Vance. Now, if that didn't give the DNC, not the DSA, the DNC, a big kick in the you-know-what, I don't know. But they may not care. They're so arrogant.
They are. Newsom should be in prison. Well,
yeah, well, he's being investigated. So
and there's a lot of China influence there too. So just keep that in mind too. I can't wait till tomorrow to hear your interview. It's going to be
I'm excited. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Thank you for doing that and setting it up. And thank you to him his name's Eric. Thank you, Eric, also for agreeing to do it too. Yeah. I'm sorry I'm going to miss you, but we'll catch you next time. That's for sure. When we're here, we'll have you back. Hopefully we'll have him back after you interview him because there's a lot more he's going to.
We've got to really focus on covering California because they've got the big election coming up for governor, AG, controller, treasurer, all of it. I mean, California has been a one-party rule for 16 years. This is very, very, very pivotal. What's happening in California.
Correct. There's big races all over. I mean, obviously Texas, there where you're living, Florida, the governorship, Ron DeSantis is done this year. A lot going on there. I think it's going to be Byron Donalds just out of
unfortunately
what we're seeing. Not the best candidate for me, but
he's Republican. You know, I know. We still need to see if we can get Fish back on. I really like him.
Yeah, and Renner too. I'd love to get him on too because he's phenomenal. So I'm trying to work on that as well. Moving on, I guess we'll move on from the China thing real quick in the shortness of time because I've got travel today too. We do want to jump back onto this Mitch McConnell situation that's going on. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime.
No.
I don't know how long they can keep the cover up going or is there a story? What is the real story here?
Well, he's termed out. So
it doesn't correct regardless.
So it's not like they can say he's alive and then he gets reelected somehow.
Correct.
You know, he's done.
Yeah.
there will be a special election in Kentucky. Now, a lot of people are saying they have to wait till August 3rd. I also did some research and said that there is no August 3rd deadline.
Is that just an arbitrary date they made up?
Somebody said that. It's not true.
Yep.
There is no. Okay. Governor Andy Beshear went on with Katie Couric and said he had 2 confirmed confidential people tell him that he's passed away. He said that on air with Katie Couric. He said that Friday.
Whether I believe that or not, but I'm leaning towards that path. So I don't disagree with what he's thinking.
Why would he lie about that? I mean,
correct.
Although I don't think it's exactly very scrupulous to come out and say that either. Because it kind of,
I don't either.
You got to think about the family. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Whatever, he said it. True. No confirmation over the weekend. Just he's still there. His wife, Elaine Chao, was in China, finds out he had some medical emergency. She stays in China. She meets with the vice president. Mm-hmm. Then she comes back. Her family owns a huge shipping company that does all its business with China. It's a U.S.-based company. I think it's called Foremost.
Yeah.
And, she was born in Taiwan, came here as a child, immigrant, made billions of dollars in the shipping industry. She stays in China. I'm sure it was to secure business. I'm sure it was to do the dirty work that she needed to do.
Yep.
It doesn't sound like she was very upset that her husband was sick.
Sure doesn't.
She stayed in China.
Yep, correct.
She tweeted out, she's only tweeted 3 tweets, and one of them was Happy Father's Day to her father. Nothing about, she's not tweeted anything about her husband.
Correct.
Prayers for him, maybe because she doesn't want to acknowledge, she doesn't want to say anything because they can't come back and say, well, you said this. And
I'm sure that's probably why. Because
they all have advisors. They're not like you and I. They're not sitting there doing all of their, they have people, and then they have people, and then they have people that analyze everything, make sure everything's done right. I mean, it's not like what you and I live. It's not even.
But whose idea do you think it is to keep them, keep everybody hanging and thinking that this is acceptable at this point?
He is not incapacitated either.
Excuse me.
He is not considered incapacitated by the law of Kentucky. You and I were talking, and I think you had mentioned that he was incapacitated. He's not.
He's not. Okay.
So if that means he can still vote, doesn't have to show up in person, I don't know. I don't know what the reasoning is for holding him hostage. To be. Blink yes. Say this.
I know.
They put out another picture. I don't know if that was Friday or Saturday.
I saw that of the room, and there was a lot of.
If you look, the room numbers are different, on the board, and the number.
Really, and there's a hanging chart. When have you seen a hanging chart on the end of a bed?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
since our daughter was born, I think. So I mean, it's a long time. It's not a good look.
It's not, and I don't know. I don't know if they're just trying to.
Shirt on too, I think.
Yeah, he had the same shirt.
Which
any good wife would tell your husband, don't wear the same thing twice.
Don't wear the same thing. Yeah.
Would you I tagged my clothes when I was photoed in something last. Yeah. Come on, Elaine.
You can't wear the same thing twice.
Come on, what's the matter with you? Another thing too, the weird picture of her walking with the trench coat and the mask. Yeah. Our friend Desiree Townsend was made a good point. She said that if she was seriously walking, first of all, it was the dead of summer, 100 degrees. She's in all this clothing with a mask. Yeah. But there was so much media coverage, including TMZ. Somebody would have stopped her, had her on camera, had
for
video
sure.
of her. There's no way that she was just casually walking out of George Washington University Hospital.
Correct. There's a lot of media and a lot of attention in in this area. So it's absolutely bizarre. The mystery continues. For how long, I don't know. What happens?
Another good point that the governor made, and I'm, he's a Democratic governor, but when you're sick, you call your boss.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And you let your boss know.
Yep, correct.
The governor, the president,
somebody,
the people who
put you in. Yeah,
to put this into context, Mitch McConnell's been in the Senate when Ronald Reagan was president. I mean,
right. Yep. So,
that's almost a whole dimension ago. Right?
Yeah, it is. I know.
when I was doing the research, I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, it's that
Reagan. Oh my gosh.
Wasn't it 85 or something?
1985.
1985.
I mean, that's like an unknown. That is so unbelievable. That
I literally graduated high school the year before. That's
Yeah,
how
I
long
was-
Mitch McConnell's been in
I was 21. I mean,
Yeah,
and
that's
Reagan
nuts.
was in office. Like, tell me
Yeah,
how many
yeah.
people can remember
Yeah, I know.
Reagan.
And who's serving that? Well, I guess you got, I don't know. I mean, there's, again, term limits. This is another good reason for term limits. Do you agree with term limits? We've never talked about that, honestly.
I do. Yeah,
Do you?
in this
Okay.
situation, obviously. I mean,
Well,
Pelosi,
correct.
Schumer, they're all, it's like, my gosh, they're all one step away from breaking a hip and being in the same situation. And then we have nobody.
And we have nobody. Correct.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. You're
I mean,
right.
a broken hip at that age is just as dangerous as anything else.
I mean, they actually physically stopped giving you a driver's license at some point, but not these people are allowed to actually make decisions and laws and procedures for the American people.
Look what happened to Paul Pelosi last week driving
Yeah.
and
hit and run.
his car and didn't even know, whatever. I mean, there's got to be. This is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I don't know the way in or out though. That's the thing. Like, how are they going to get out of it? Say he's dead. Yeah. They got to have a special election. That's what the governor wants. The governor wants
I know.
Election.
I know he wants a special election. I know the governor wants who he wants in there. I mean, I get that. That's
you kind of see the fight, right? They're having like this tug of war. Like,
I agree. I agree. They tried questioning Rand Paul too about it. It's his, counterpart in the Senate from the state of Kentucky, and nothing had nothing to say. Just
I can just say, as an American, I don't like this.
Yeah, I don't like this either. I don't like this either from either side of the aisle. I don't like it either. I wouldn't accept this from the left. I'm certainly not going to accept it from the right.
Right.
At this point, it's bipartisan. Something needs to change.
Yeah. And this is just an example of what Washington does. Like, when people want to question our government, this is a perfect example of why we need to question.
And why they have a 9% approval rating, and probably dropping as we speak. So, yeah, that's crazy. And then one last thing I want to talk about real quick before I got to go. So sorry to cut it short for everybody, but it was very interesting. You spoke of Dr. Drew. Eric's been on Dr. Drew himself. He talked a little bit about Lindsey Graham's health and the aortic dissection. Do you mind if I play that video real quick?
Yeah, no.
Dr. Drew doing that? I don't know if you've heard this or not, but it's very interesting. And I respect Dr. Drew too. I love him. There's somebody. Let's get him.
Dissection. That is what poor Lindsey Graham died of. Dr. Oz did a wonderful demonstration using a roll of paper towels, how a dissection works. If you think about a roll of paper towels, there's that inner cardboard. Imagine it sort of crushing on itself. And so blood starts rushing into the paper area where it doesn't belong, and it crushes the lumen and cuts off all the arteries along the way. So a dissection is a tear in the artery in the aorta, and we do not know how to detect that or predict it. So all these people that are saying, you should have checked, there's no checking for this one. It's a weird one. And they're confusing it with aortic aneurysm, which is an enlargement of the aorta, which does not predict dissection, but it predicts aortic rupture and other kinds of problems. So people with aortas that go above 5 centimeters, you might replace the aorta. And those people could dissect, but they don't predict dissection, how big the aorta becomes. So it's a mess. And here's the really difficult thing that I'm struggling with right now.
Yeah. So this part.
We know the spike protein damages the lining of arteries, whether it's from the vaccine or from COVID. We know that's part of its pathogenic mechanism. I have seen very strange heart disease since COVID came around. Weird anatomy, aggressive heart disease. Something is going on in the lining of the arteries of the heart and the aorta. So the question is, Adam Carolla calling me. So
we could use a fourth friend right now.
I know, we need something funny. Where was I? God, Adam.
The strange things that you're seeing because of the spike protein.
All right, so we're seeing accelerated coronary disease, and I had seen probably 2 aortic dissections my entire career until about 2022, and now I've seen a dozen. And if you look at Kat Timp's dad died of an aortic dissection a month ago, just gone. And if you look at the VAERS data, aortic dissection is essentially zero, and it's up 1,000-fold. So what is going on? Is it the vaccine? I don't know. Is it COVID? I don't know. Is it both? But you're not even allowed to ask the question.
There it is. That's Dr. True. Now, isn't that interesting?
Well, they had been talking about, like, when the vaccine very first came out, and
yes, strange.
people were saying
heart
problems with young people.
Correct.
I would not doubt it. Although I do have to say, Lindsey Graham's father died of a massive heart attack. So it leads me to think that he had probably heart disease, which was inherent.
And some genetic situation. But the fact that Dr. Drew saw 2 in his entire career up until 2022, it's almost to me like the spike in autism. And like, what happened? We didn't have this issue. Now, all of a sudden, everybody's on the spectrum. All these children are on so what has caused that? I mean, is it pesticides in your food? Is it, again, I don't know, everything. Is it the unhealthy? Is it the steroid infused chicken nuggets at McDonald's? I don't know, or is it vaccines? Of course, I'm not going to know that. I don't have that background nor that, research capability, but it makes you wonder why these things happen. And why is this? And so that was just very interesting to me. And I respect Dr. Drew 100%.
Let's see. Did Mitch McConnell get the shot? Did he get the
I'm
shot?
Sure. I'm sure he did. I'm sure they all did.
He doesn't have
this might be personal, but considering how your husband passed and all, did you get you were in California. Did you have
that's a very,
and you don't have to say it, yes or
no. I'm very proud of this. So when my husband was on life support, they were giving him blood from people that had COVID, that had the antibodies.
Yes. Okay.
So that was part of his, I don't know what they gave him because I wasn't privy to it, but that was one thing I remember the doctor saying. He's getting blood from patients who had COVID, survived it, and he was getting the antibodies. Because I got COVID too. I had COVID. I was in the hospital for 10 days. I don't think I ever mentioned that part.
No, you did not.
Yeah, my children could have buried both of us.
Wow.
So after he died and was buried, I went to my doctor and I said, I want to donate my blood because I had, and so I donated because I had the antibodies. So then I moved to Texas and I continued donating. And every time I donated, they said, the minute you get the vaccine, you cannot donate anymore because you don't have natural antibodies. I donated for about, I think 16 months. I went every 6 weeks and I donated, and I never got the vaccine.
Wow.
But I had it too.
Yeah.
And I had the first wave of it, and I had it really bad. I didn't have to go in the ICU. I was very close.
Yeah.
But I did not. But my kids got it. They were in California. It was so awful.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
So awful.
Yeah, and we thank God we did not. Our children did not get it. I got the first one, and I'll tell you why. My job is to travel and go places, and we weren't being dictated, but sort of asked by an employer to so I did go get the first one, and then I never went back. And the first one was basically nothing. It was basically.
Did you get a reaction from it or anything?
A little bit, just a little bit, little drowsiness, little jogging, nothing bad. But that February 2020, I was for about 7 or 8 days. I was the sickest I had ever been in my life. Before they came out with the COVID, I had just got flown back from out west. Got home about a week later. I am down for the count. I am 104
a lot
fever.
A lot of people
and I'm
had and didn't know what it was.
I'm like, this is the worst flu I've ever had. And I literally for a week. And then after that, for about a month, I was just fatigued and I could not, almost like foggy brained. I couldn't think straight. It was terrible back then. And I didn't know what it was. And so when they said it, I'm like, maybe that's what I had. I still don't know.
My husband got his first symptoms, came home from work, working a 12-hour shift, 6 days in a row at the jail.
Yeah.
April 11th, it was Saturday, with a fever and a cough. And I said, you got to go. And I took him to the ER. I couldn't go in. I had to drop him off. Took him to the same hospital where he eventually died.
Yeah.
And they sent him home. Everything was COVID, all the paperwork, everything. But back then it was 5 days for the test.
Yes, correct. You're right.
And so that was Saturday. Thursday, they called. He had stayed home, everything. They called and they said, oh, your tests are negative. Well, we now know those tests were not accurate.
We do. Yep, we know that.
From that moment, he never got better. But he never went. He always did a Zoom call with the doctor. I got to work. He always was like, I got to work. I got to work. I got to work. I got to work. And then one day it just killed him.
Wow. So in April, he was diagnosed with
April 11th of 2020.
And June 23rd, he passed
July
away.
23rd, he died.
Or July 23rd, I'm sorry.
He went into the hospital June 28th. And,
wow.
But that hospital, the original, I know he had COVID. I know it. Mm-hmm. And he never got better. He would get a Zoom appointment and they'd give him a Z-Pack. And he kept saying, oh, I have walking pneumonia. And finally I said to him, like, would you just take some time off and go to the doctor? And he said, I can't, because all the young guys are taking advantage. Because back then you could take the 2 weeks off or the 3 weeks off if you felt like you were scared.
Gonna be exposed or
And that's what they all were doing. And he had to go to work.
Wow. Damn. Well, Maureen, thank God you're around. Thank God. I feel terrible that happened to you. We have a very good friend who's a physician. Her husband at 42 years old died of COVID. Same situation. Just went in the hospital. They couldn't go in and see him. She was an actual physician and wasn't allowed to go into that hospital too. Can
I just tell a very quick? I just want to tell you this quick story.
Please.
The night my husband died, I was able to be with him. I don't know how. His sheriff was very powerful. Yeah. I was there. I was in the ICU room. My son was allowed to sit outside. They wouldn't let him in, but I was with him. I was there when he took his last breath. He had his badge in his hand. I have that badge. I was there with him.
Yeah.
I was sitting next to his bedside and I heard this incredible noise. It was so loud. The floors were shaking and it was motorcycles. And I remember thinking to myself, who is out there doing this? What is it, a motorcycle gang here? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
I got up and I looked out the window and it was rows and rows of motors. They were his motors. He worked for a huge department.
Yeah.
And I remember the very first thing I thought of is, what are they doing here? Like I knew he was dying, but in my mind, I was like,
why are they all here?
And then the next moment I thought, and I turned and I said, honey, your motors are here. And he died at that exact moment. The moment the motors
he knew.
Rolled
the moment he knew. Yep.
And when I got out to all of the guys in his department, his captains, everybody, and I went right to his best friend, sobbing, and I said, Ray, he died when the motors got here. And he said he knew he had to wait for his backup. And he knew he was waiting for us to be here for you, Maureen.
Wow.
And at his funeral, the sheriff spoke about that. They had the motors drive around and said this was the last thing that Oscar heard. So I count myself every day. I thank God that he had it somehow, some way. I don't know how it happened, but we were there.
Yeah.
He didn't die alone.
Yep.
And he had the motors.
Thank God. Yeah. Thank God. Wow. Thank you for sharing that as well.
Continue to watch over all of us. I know he is.
And thank you for your lifelong service. And
if you're an officer out there, you ever get scared, you ever don't know what to do, pray to Oscar because he will be there for you.
Yep. Nice. Thank you, Maureen.
Thank you, Dale. I really appreciate you. And
I appreciate you too. And thank you for being here. I look forward to many, 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 many more shows here together. A lot's going to happen. We're working on a lot of stuff. Maureen is hard at it. I can tell you that. She's
got exciting news coming up. Don't worry.
Yep, for sure. And it's very much appreciated. And thank you for allowing me to share in this ride with you as well too. So it's important to me and it means a lot. And I just want to thank you as well. So it's great. It's great having you. And
safe travels to Fulton
I will.
County.
Stay tuned tomorrow for Maureen, who's going to be on the America First Network with Eric, who is
Inner Rhythm Media.
And that's you can find him on TikTok. You can also find him on X too. Yep. And he's
great
doing
videos.
He's the West Coast Nick Shirley. Let's just put it that way. Basically, he's doing that work out there. So stay tuned for that, people. So sorry, Maureen. Yeah, I mean,
Thank you, everyone.
Guys, I'm telling you. And here, Danny says, thank you for joining the show, Maureen, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, God bless you and all of you out there. Thank you again for joining in on here on this. And like, follow, share. You know what to do out there, and we see that you do it. So we appreciate your support. Let's get the word out there. Now that Maureen's on, we've got big things coming up. Stay tuned tomorrow for her show on not filling in, but taking over for me on the America First Network. We will be back the following Tuesday together on that. There might be a show Wednesday here, guys, so stay tuned. We don't know yet. We'll know more by Tuesday night, but if you get a notification that the live's coming up, then you'll know. If not, we'll be back on Monday as well together. So Maureen, anything to add before we leave?
No, just thank you very much. I appreciate everybody's love and prayers. It's a tough week for me. I'll get through it. I've been through worse. This is my 6th year, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate it. I feel the prayers. I feel the love. Thank you.
Yep. Tough week. We are all thinking about you, and you are in our prayers. And we are here for you as well if you need to talk to anybody. So we are all here. Maureen, thank you. Dare appreciate it. We will talk soon. Good luck tomorrow. I know it's going to be great. I can't wait to listen.
Very excited.
Yep. We'll see you all soon. All right. Thanks, Maureen.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.
We spoke the truth, we made it clear. We're grateful that you all are here. Through every fight, we see it